Hi, I'm Sandra Burnett, an English-trained registered nurse with a global perspective and a passion for practical holistic wellness. Laura Cross of White Sands Self-Care and I have teamed up to combine our experience, insight, and straightforward guidance for anyone who's ready to make meaningful, empowered choices about their well-being. So whether you're simply wanting to feel better, or if you're actually facing a real challenge, or finally ready to just be proactive instead of reactive, this is your chance to move beyond what's masking your signs and symptoms and start addressing what's actually driving them. If you're ready to take the next step, connect with Laura today. Click on the link below or scan the QR code to schedule your complimentary call. We are here to serve you. Your holistic journey starts with one step. Let's take it together. Reach out today. Thanks so much.
Are you an intuitive, heart-led entrepreneur with wisdom that matters, but feel your message doesn't always land with the correct people? I'll help you clear your channels so you can step out, communicate, guide and nurture with an aligned message that flows effortlessly, reaching the right audience with more clarity, ease and confidence. Voyage of Transcendence, clarity, alignment, growth.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to another Mindful Monday. I hope everyone was able to enjoy some time with their family over the holidays and just have some downtime to reset and recharge. But I have a question for you. Are you someone that waits for the new year to make necessary shifts or changes in your life, or do you make them whenever you need to? Because I know a lot of people will, and I used to buy into, right, the New Year's resolutions, waiting for that new year, and we have to make a big changes, and changes don't always have to be big, for one. But I know that for me, I'd realized that I didn't buy it. I no longer buy into the New Year's resolution because I realized it's just an excuse for procrastination and procrastinating, which I think just kind of keeps us held back. So the question is, what is keeping you stuck? Because it can be small tweaks. But my guest today here realized that she needed to make some big changes. And you may recognize her because me and her used to co-host together the Voyage to Vitality. And I am so excited to have her on here. I mean, when I I thought it was a big change when I moved from Colorado to Missouri, moving to a place that I was not necessarily familiar with, but she went a whole step further. And so I'm really happy to have her on here to kick off the new year. For those of you that don't know Dawn Livingstone, she is an Ascension coach, an energy healer, and the visionary behind Voyage of Transcendence, LLC, with more than 25 years of experience in energy work. And she has devoted her life to helping people release fear and dissolve the just dissolve the traumas, the blocks, and everything that you have going on, the imprints of trauma, and being your authentic self. So I want to welcome Dawn. Thank you so much for joining us. And so just so you guys know, the reason I'm saying a big change, and because she was in the US. First, she moved from Colorado to Texas. And she moved shortly after I did, because I remember after I moved, I started having calls. It wasn't about business meetings. People wanted to know about my logistics and how did I move or how did I do this? But then you went a whole step further. She is joining us from Mauritius. And so, Dawn, you want to tell us a little bit, and first of all, welcome, and tell us a little bit, where is Mauritius, and how did that come about?
Firstly, Happy New Year, Laura, and to everybody, and it's lovely to see you. It's been quite a while since we've had a chat. Yes, Mauritius. Now, Mauritius is a tiny little island. It is just to the east, probably about 1,000 miles to the east of Madagascar, which is off the east coast of South Africa. So it's an African island, very small. There's about 1.2 million people here. Yeah, it was a big decision. It was a massive move. About we kicked it off, I would say, 2 years ago. Probably about this time in January, 2 years ago. Things had just been, I don't know, I was just really feeling unsettled. And for people that might know me, no, that wouldn't mean anything really, because my husband and I like to move around a lot. We've been in many, many different places. But it was a really horrible, unsettled feeling I was getting. I think there was so many things going on in America that I wasn't happy with. And my husband had a really horrible work-life balance. He had to drive 90 minutes each way for work. So he was in the car at least 3 hours a day, plus his 8, sometimes 9, sometimes 10-hour shift. So he was coming home exhausted at night, having his dinner. We were cleaning up and he was just ready to hit the sack. There was no, I suppose, sort of social circle we had, because there just wasn't time available for that. So that had its impact on me as well. And we decided that because things were just getting so expensive and they were getting so difficult, and I don't know, we just decided, well, why would we not just move somewhere? We can move out of the US, we can go somewhere else, and sell everything we've got. Why not? We've done it before, why not? So we decided that that's what we were going to do, and we were talking about where, and I had suggested Mauritius. Now, not for any reason at that time other than it was on my list. It was on my life list. I don't call it a bucket list now, it's a life list. And I've always wanted to visit this area of the world, and with the Maldives and the Seychelles, Mauritius was actually on that list as well. So I decided I looked into the other ones as well, but Mauritius, I don't know, it had there was like a beckoning, it was like, come here, come here. And that was the way it felt. So I did some research, and, we sat down one night and we decided, right, okay, that's where we're going to go. So that's where we went. So
So
we decided that
hold on. So
probably
question though, now you did research, but did you ever actually go there and visit it first, or you just did this from research and from an inner calling?
we did this from an inner calling. We hadn't been here. We thought about it. We thought, well, we go, and then we thought, oh no, let's just do this. Yeah, so that was exactly what we did. So we decided the first week of January, that we wanted to have the house sold, because there was a few different bits and pieces that we needed to do to the house. So we decided we would give ourselves 6 months to do that, and then get the house up for sale, and then we would work out, how to get over to Mauritius. So that was what we did. So I set about manifesting, doing a lot of manifesting, and sitting and visualizing what it was that I wanted to happen. And we had a spectacular year, actually. Everything that we wanted worked out in perfect timing. We can't say anything about the timing other than it was just perfect. We wanted to sell our house very quickly. So we said by September, we wanted to sell our house by September. We actually sold it in July to the first people that walked through the door. I think their appointment was about 1 o'clock, and they left at 2:30, and by 6 o'clock at night we had an offer on the table. So it was very, very swift. I wasn't expecting it to be that quick, but hey, we'll take it. Yeah, so and what I was asking for also was, because this is going to be such a big move, we were going international. We didn't want to take all our stuff with us like we would normally do if we were just moving state to state. So we decided, right, okay, we'll sell everything we have. We'll just sell it. So the couple that bought our house, bless them, they were lovely, and this was going to be a second home for them. So they didn't have anything in their home. So they virtually bought just about everything we had in the house for them to use. So that worked out an absolute treat too. And I don't think I sat very much on that one. I think it was just something I put out there, as you do. This is what I want. That would be great, if the couple that bought our house would actually, want some of our furniture. That would be super. I thought I'll just put that out there, and that's exactly what I did. And it just all fell into place. We were absolutely flabbergasted, I think that the word is. And again, with our cars, we wanted to sell one of our cars relatively quick, but we also wanted to sell the second car with, just a day or two so that we could get to the airport, this type of thing. We wanted it right up as far as possible to the end of our time in the US. And we checked in at the hotel on a Sunday night. Our flight was on a Monday, and the guy picked up the car on the Sunday night. So we were just absolutely
And if I
delighted.
remember right,
But
wasn't it the same people that bought your house and the things that bought your vehicles as well? Did they not, or
no,
was
it
it someone
wasn't. They're
different?
two
Okay,
different people. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
But
But yeah,
still, I
so
mean,
it all went
the fact
absolutely
that you were
great.
able to manifest all of that, and I thought the ironic thing was, you moved to Texas from Colorado, and it was a Colorado couple that bought your bought your house in Texas. But yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
the positivity, the manifestation, and a lot of people necessarily don't believe in that. I mean, think a lot of us have heard of The Secret, kind of what you put out there or you focus your thoughts on. Maybe you can talk to us a little bit more, because I believe you've been manifesting for a good part of your life too, have you not?
It's about even realizing it, to be perfectly honest, because it's about what you think and what you feel, what you say. All these things are, contribute to what you actually create in your life. The secret for me, I found that many, many moons ago. I don't even, is it 20 years old? Anyway, I think. So that was one of the first things I read and thought, oh, it was absolutely wonderful. But you do manifest every single day. And I think everything in that year, I mean, this was 2 years ago, in that year, everything just flowed one after the other. It all just bang, bang, bang. I got what I asked for. And I think it's because I was so excited. I had elevated my vibration, and I was excited about, because I would tune in to the visualization of actually being in this place and maybe sitting on a beach. These are the sort of things that can help you raise your vibration. So I kind of kicked that in quite a bit 2 years ago. And yeah, the whole year just flowed super duper well. There was no resistance or anything there. It all just fell into place. So we were just totally delighted with that. I mean, the other thing, we manifested some other things when we got here, because we've got 4 cats, and we brought them from the US. We weren't leaving them behind, our fur babies, but everything went to plan, because really our day for flying was dependent on when they could get received into Mauritius and go into quarantine. So it was virtually last minute before we could, actually book our flights and know when we were going. But it was perfectly, day after day after day. It worked super well. And also when we got to Mauritius, the first day we were there, I said to my husband, I said, right, what are we going to manifest while we're here? I said, I think I would like to meet a Mauritian with a house that wants to rent it out in a quiet place and is able to, help us plan some things, tell us places to go, places to eat, somebody that can give us a bit of direction on the island. And the first day we were there, we took a selfie, and we put it on one of the local Facebook groups. And we just said, hello, we're Dawn and Duncan, we've just arrived. If there's anybody that would like to connect, we gave them a bit of information about us. If there's anybody that wants to connect, just, inbox me. Flooded with people that wanted to connect, which was amazing. One man, he's a lovely man. He said, I don't know why. He says, but we have to connect. That was his words. I do not know why, but we have to connect. He says, I feel drawn to you. I was like, okay, that's fine. So we ended up going to his house the next week, and he made us breakfast, a Mauritian breakfast, and just a lovely man. And the one thing that wasn't really manifested very well, but I think that was on purpose from the lovely universe. We had booked an Airbnb, and it was pretty uncomfortable to live in, and we decided that we would cut that short and just find somewhere else. We weren't going to stay there for the duration. So this guy that we met was so lovely. We were chatting away to him, and we were telling him that the house, you know, we're thinking about looking for somewhere else. And he said, "Where are you thinking of looking?" And I said, "Don't know, but would like it to be somewhere that's not touristy, you know, that's not got a lot of noise, and nice and quiet. But we would like, you know, a decent sized house, you know, because we've got the cats, so we need to be secure for the cats." And he said, "Would you live on the East Coast?" We were like, "Yeah, no reason why we wouldn't consider that." So he gave us an address and told us to meet him there the next day, and he gave us a walk around his house. He was living on the West Coast, and he had a house on the East Coast, and he was looking for somebody to rent it to. Boom.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it all went fantastically well, and it's great for the cats. We've got loads of space, and yeah, we're very happy.
So before we dig into the changes and stuff that has brought about, address maybe a little bit, because I know a lot of people really know they need a change or feel that they should have a change, but they're either afraid of change, they're afraid of unknown, or they're staying someplace out of a sense of obligations. If I remember right, there was a little bit hesitation maybe from family members for you about you moving. That not everybody supported, I don't think, your move, but I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I mean, we're hitting all the highlights and it all worked out, but I know there had to be some spots. How did that? What was that like?
I think people were a bit shocked because I didn't want to tell family or friends what we were doing, just in case it all fell through. So, and we wanted to focus on the things we had to do to actually get there. That was what we wanted to do. But I would say that was really the only bump. And once we explained why we were doing it, then they understood, and everything was fine. So I would really say that that's the only bump in the road there.
Did you ever have a question come up in your mind that are we doing the right thing or no?
No, no, because thinking about the change made me happy. So no, I was feeling it in my body that everything was great and I was on the right path. And you were talking about change there, Laura. You know, people fear change. They do fear change. I used to be like that, but not anymore. Change is ever evolving, right? It's the only constant in the universe is change. Everything changes and evolves and moves along. So there's no point in not embracing change in any aspect of your life if you feel drawn to do it, because that's the only way we evolve, isn't it? That's the only way we expand and we grow. Instead of staying stagnant, you know, and stuck for all your lives. And that was the stage where I was. I felt stuck. I felt totally stuck in absolutely all aspects of life. And I didn't realize until we made the decision to actually move when we were in the planning stages. I didn't realize until then how unhappy I was, because I was so happy at the time. So I knew it was a really good move. I knew it was a good move, and I knew everything. I don't know, I just felt it was internally, I felt that everything was going to be absolutely fine. I had no need to worry about anything. And that was absolutely the case. I didn't have to worry about anything because nothing went wrong. So yay.
No, and I think it's beautiful because I mean, there was some resistance, you know, when we wanted to move because my family was all in Colorado and, you know, like my fiance, he was in a career he had had for 24 years. You know, at the time he's in his mid 50s and he's like, well, how am I going to start a new job? You know, who's going to hire me? You know, there's like all these things that pop up. And all I could really tell anybody was that, you know, I know my family's there, but in my heart of hearts, we just needed to move. And I had started out doing it for my fiance, but then after I got here, I realized how much I needed the change. And it really, opened up a lot for me. It's helped me to evolve, to a better version of myself. What has this change been like for you and your husband? Because, was there any of that? Did he have any of those doubts of how was he going to, because you and I work from online and we can work from anywhere, but when you're working a physical location and then you're going to a totally different place, it's
Yeah.
different.
He was happy because he knew the only way that we could go was for him to retire. So he retired, and he was very happy about that. I think that since we've been here, um, I think it only took us about 3 months, I think, to discover how stressed out we actually were, and how stressed out he was at his job, that he had just grown used to having that feeling, that high vibe survival mode feeling. He didn't realize how stressed he was, really. So now, yeah, he's much less stressed. We've got a beach that's like 200 meters from our house. We've got sunshine every day. We actually worship the rain when it comes. It doesn't come that often, but my goodness, when it comes, it's nice. It cools it down because it can be really hot and really humid. But yeah, the stress, we just don't have that. And grounding, even grounding makes you feel so much better. Walking 5 minutes on a beach, barefoot every day makes such a difference with your energy levels. It's just so lovely to be living without, being highly stressed. That's all I can say. It's fabulous.
Well, yeah, and you look so much brighter, so much happier. And I will say, I always loved seeing the pictures of the beach. I'm like, I don't know, she's on island time. I always talk about being on island time, and it's beautiful. And obviously, you can tell by the Scottish accent, you were from Scotland, so you're kind of used to moving from country to another country. I've had that experience, but through the military, so all the logistics were taken care of for me. It's always something different when you have to, do it yourself. But um, yeah, that's why I always say I think you'd agree. Anything you set your mind to, you can do. And
Oh, you
I have
can.
met more and more
Yeah.
people that maybe other people don't understand it, or maybe they wish they did that, but they're living the life that they were intended to live, and they're happy. And I mean, to me, that's what matters most. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed differences in your health as well as your husband's, in
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely. We sleep like babies, which is wonderful. Is wonderful. Yeah, we are constantly. We've got all the windows and the doors open during the day, so there's all the fresh air, the sea air coming in. So much better for your health. We don't on the island. There are no chemtrails, which is just wonderful. You see the blue sky and the clouds the way they actually are naturally. They don't have any genetically modified foods here. They just don't grow them because they are very much in abundance with what's on the island. I mean, bananas, coconuts. My goodness, they grow loads of vegetables. Not quite a bit of fruit, but they don't. What they don't have, and what we found was really strange, was they don't have fields of cows or sheep. They don't have any animals other than the animals that families keep for themselves. They don't have them here because there's just not space to have them. So meat is very hard to get here. They import it all. But that's not an issue for us. We don't eat meat, but we eat lots of vegetables, and they're fresh out the ground. We go to the market every Sunday morning, in and out in 20 minutes with a massive, well, 3 or 4 bags usually, of all the fruits and vegetables that we need for the week. And you're lucky if it costs us $20.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing the different ways that you can live in other places. But and you, so like I said, we can work from anywhere. And I know that's why we had Megan North step in to co-host for you when we were doing the show while you were
Yes,
moving.
yes, she was
um, but
great.
but you still kept in touch, and obviously your internet may not be as full as ours, but you can still function, right? And so you're still able to
Yes.
continue your work, and you actually, even with this whole new lease of life, kind of rebranded yourself, right? Because you were Transcend and Succeed. And now I believe you are Cosmic Soul Alignment, right? For the TV show?
Yes. I decided that, and that's another side effect of moving to a place, and you don't have the stress levels. Everything in your body relaxes. So I was starting to have mystical experiences. Had them before, but there were a lot more since I moved here. So astral traveling, be able to go to different places and many different things. That's just one example. And I decided that really I've been having these experiences all my life and I've never talked about them because of what I felt other people would think. Right. That fear was in there that they're going to think I'm an idiot, or they're going to reject me, or they're not going to like me, this type of thing. Think I'm an idiot. And I thought, happens to me, and I've got the experience for this. Why am I not, creating a channel for other people to come on and tell their stories? You got people with near-death experiences. They've had experience with alien abductions. Why are we not speaking about this? Why is it a normal thing? Because there's more and more people coming forward to say, yeah, I've experienced something similar. There's no two experiences the same, but just because they're not the same doesn't mean it didn't happen. And I think that people need to have as many platforms as possible to come and, and talk about their experience if that is what they want to do. So rebranding, that was quite exciting for me, because it's not something I'm aware of, but it's not something I really talk about very much. But it's going super well. I've had many guests on with some great stories, and it's been fabulous that I can actually talk about something that I'm excited to talk about, and it's something that I understand and it comes easy to me. So, the shows are flowing and I understand what they're talking about. So it's really great. Yeah, it's really great. I've got a good response, got some good viewers, very happy.
Yeah, and I think it's incredible. And you kind of nailed it right on the head, is that's what a lot of people keeps them from talking or doing stuff, because they're so worried about what other people think or being judged. But when you can get rid of that and you don't care what they think or judge, you will find your tribe of people. And there are many out there. And like you said, there are more and more people talking about it, and not necessarily with the stigmatism of, oh, it's witchcraft, voodoo, woo woo, whatever.
Oh yeah, there's lots of that.
Whatever you want to call it. It's like, you can call it whatever you want. I know I've done the stuff of writing things down and manifesting things, and here it comes, and it's always been there. So, but you really have to be open-minded, I think, and stay in that positive and be in the positive vibrations. Because if you spiral and you get in all the muck, that's kind of what you continue to attract.
All the heaviness. Yeah, and I did that for a while without even realizing it. Fully aware that, to advance on, to manifest, you had to, raise your vibration. And of course, with energy healing, I clear myself very regularly. But, sometimes when you're in the wrong situation, these things will happen to you because you're not on the right path or you're not doing the right thing. So this is how it all works. If you're on the wrong path, you'll get these nudges to get you off it. And the more you ignore them, these little nudges that come in, the more the baseball bat will come in and start to really knock you off your perch until, if you can continue to ignore that, then you will be taken down to go on your right path. That's what happened to me. I had that accident in my karate class. I think I told you about that. Was thrown badly, landed badly, and broke the bottom disc in my back. And I was totally flat out on the couch for 4 months. Had surgery about a year after that. But that really made me think and made me understand that where I was at that time, in an abusive relationship, in an abusive marriage, that wasn't the right thing for me. And as soon as I had that realization, I had that light bulb moment, then things changed for me. And it's all just gone fabulously since then. So sometimes we look at these negative experiences, these bad experiences that we would call them, as, you know, a chance to say that you're a victim of life, or however you want to word it. People are not looking at these things as opportunity, because they are all opportunities for your growth and for your expansion. And even though during that 4 months that I was in pain with my back, I was playing the victim mode, didn't even realize I was playing the victim card. But as soon as I realized what was going on, everything just turned around, and I could feel my vibration, elevating really, really well. It's just amazing how people think that they are rock bottom. But when you're rock bottom, the only way is up. So this is a way to think about it. Just keep thinking that, don't worry about negative things that are happening or bad things that are happening. Doesn't matter if you get laid off because there's a job that's better around the corner for you. You just need to go out and find it, and you'll be directed to that, like a marriage, or even just a relationship. If things aren't going right for you and you're with the wrong person, something will happen to make you leave that person, or that person will leave you. But it's not a bad thing. It's because you have something better, and Creator has something better planned for you.
Yeah, I love that. Because, like you said, when you stay in the lower and the negative vibrations, that's when those pains and the illnesses and all of that stuff kicks in. It's amazing. And I've seen a number of
Yeah.
people, and it's hard for people to grasp sometimes because of the society that we've been grown up in. But when you can change that vibration positive, you can get rid of a lot of that pain, discomfort, dis-ease, whatever you want to call it. Or like you said, you release the energy, you get it out of your body. Yeah.
That's what I do to help people in my daily life, because everything is energy. It's all vibration. So whatever you have stuck in your body, whatever emotion you have stuck, it's just energy. It's just a vibration. So it's pretty easy to go, but things come away in layers. This is one of the things that I really embodied in 2025, was that healing, as we would call it, healing, is not a one-time thing. It's not a one-day thing or a one-course thing. No, it's constant. You've got to keep taking away all the layers, right? So everything comes to the surface in layers, all these emotions and all these, the traumas, the fears, etc. They all come up to the surface as they are ready to be released. And the energy of them is in your aura, or it's in your chakras, or it's in an organ in the body. And once that organ and the emotion is located, it can be cleared really quickly. And then that leaves space for something else to come up. So it's a constant clearing. But you feel yourself when it leaves you, because you feel lighter and you feel brighter. And it's something that I so love. Absolutely. So yeah, everything is vibration, and vibrations can be changed. And we inherit everything from our ancestors. Did you know that by the time you count back to your 9th set of great grandparents, you have carried forward, or you have been given the vibrations of over 2,000 souls? So isn't it, I mean, it's not even, it blows you away when you think about it. You think, oh my goodness, 2,000 people, and we have been carrying all their burdens all the way down, all these vibrations, all the fear, all the trauma. So it's no wonder we're in the state that we are at the minute. We just need to get clear in and be aware that we can actually do it. It's harmless. It really is a harmless thing, but you've got to be aware that it's there first. That is the first step, is awareness, that you can change and you can get well You can't, you don't have to be depressed, or you don't have to have, a medical illness, or whatever it is that you have, that you're, the pain and suffering that you're going through. You don't have to have that. You have to be aware that you can change it and be ready to do it. Because if you don't believe that you can heal, then you won't, because that's what you're manifesting. Yeah, it's a disbelief in self-healing. And our body's an amazing thing. We have the innate ability to heal ourselves. And if we give our body the right conditions, so we give it less stress, we give it better food, we give it less toxins and other things, but that gives your body the right conditions to heal itself. That's exactly what it does. And the body is capable of healing from absolutely anything. Absolutely anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I have learned over time, and have embraced. So, yeah, I'm glad you had brought that up, because yeah, it's hard when you get bombarded with what we're taught in society today, and it's like there is so much more
Mhm.
out there, and it's been around for thousands of years. It's nothing new. It's just not
Yeah.
something that we were exposed to. But no, I did not know that, going
Mhm.
back, the 9 generations and 2,000 souls.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
quite a lot.
We don't just get our burdens, if you like, from this lifetime. We get them from our ancestors, but we learn a lot from this incarnation. Between the ages of birth and 7 or 8, the subconscious mind is like a sponge. It just absorbs absolutely everything. It absorbs whether it's negative or positive or happy or sad or violent, anything. It just takes it all in. So we really have to be careful for our children about what we're feeding them mentally, what they're seeing on the TV, what they're seeing on YouTube, what they're looking at on social media, Instagram and Facebook, etc., because that shapes their reality. So it, that's one thing I learned, is that social media is really not a good thing. It's okay to go on occasionally, but we were finding ourselves just, doing the mindlessly scrolling thing, where we could be doing something more productive. And the two of us were just getting stuck. And we kept saying, oh, for goodness sake, we're at it again. There was the awareness kicking in.
Mhm.
So the phones would go down and we would decide to go do something else, which was absolutely fine. But it's a hard habit to break, social media. You've got to really be persistent at it. And that's all of it. That's the same for all different habits. You've got to be very, very repetitive, or the energy healing can come in and help you quicker.
Yeah. Or
But
use
yeah,
it
awareness.
use it more wisely, because I use it,
Yeah, much
to
wiser.
connect
Yeah.
with people and for business, but I am not
Yes.
constantly on there. So do I miss posts from people sometimes if they don't tag me? Because yeah, if it didn't happen to post when I'm on it, I don't sit there and scroll for days, because there's just, when you start to get thousands of people, I mean, it gets buried, and it's like I don't have
Because
time for that. I don't have the energy. It's not that I don't
yeah.
care, but I don't have the time and energy for that. So, I'm not always on there. And it's amazing sometimes with people that think they just have to, oh my God, I have to close this account. You can control, what you see on your feed, who you're friends with. You do have the ability to control that. People act like they have no control, or they have no choice other than, it's like one or the other. It's like, no, you can, you can find the middle ground on it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we've also stopped watching the news. We don't watch the news on the TV now. We would occasionally watch it, and usually if we were sitting down to dinner, we would have it on the TV. But not now. It's like, ugh, I cannot be bothered with any of this stuff now. I
I
can't believe
stopped
we
I
were
stopped it
watching
years ago.
this.
I stopped that many,
It's
many
like,
years ago. I'm just like, I'm aware of what goes on. I got plenty of it that pops up in feeds and everything else. And yes, you should be informed, but I don't drown in it. I can't drown in it. It's just too
oh
negative,
no, you
and
can't.
negative energy.
Yeah,
And it's like, that's not where I live.
and it overwhelms you, Laura. It really does. I mean,
It
I
can.
like I like to be on top of things. I like to understand and know what's going on. But usually, if we put the news on, after 15 minutes, they've repeated themselves like 3 times, and I'm like, "Oh, it's enough. Let's get that off." That's terrible stuff. And again, that's, repetition going into the
Mhm.
subconscious mind, and we really need to get away from that, 100%.
So, what does a day in life look like you on island time now, and what does 2026 look like for you?
On island time. Well, firstly, we're applying for a 10-year permit. We've decided we would like to stay for longer. So we have that in process. We've got to get our fingerprints taken and get a rap sheet from the FBI. So that's in progress at the minute. Yeah, well, daily, I mean, we just got up and we go about our work, my work, just the way I normally would. We we shop for our, like I said, our fruits and vegetables at a local market. And we were told that probably a really good time to go was at 7:30 in the morning. We now get there for 6 a.m. because it is so crowded, so crowded. So we're in and out as quick as we possibly can. Um, Sometimes when we're at the market, they've got lots of, a lot of food courts. There's lots of stalls and things. And one of our favourite foods here is to have rotis for breakfast. So we'll buy a couple of rotis when we've had our shop, and then we'll eat them when we get home. So it's a bit like a tortilla, just made with whole wheat, and they put curry in it, usually potato and usually some beans, and they do lots and lots of different flavours in there. So they have coconut, they'll have mango, they'll do chili if you want chili. And then they just roll it up, and it's absolutely delicious. Cheap as chips, as they say, cheap as chips. So I think for the two of us, to have two each, it's like $1.50. It really
Wow.
is. It's quite cheap. But it's a very popular staple over here. And most of the stalls there have queues right the way around the corner because the food's so good. Um, Really, what we're trying to do is sit on the roof upstairs every evening. We tried because it's cooler, because
Mhm.
it's really what we're right in the middle of summer now, and we're looking at about 86 degrees and probably 86% humidity. So yeah, once we've had dinner and we've cleared everything away, we'll head up the stairs. It's the cat's favourite place, but we'll head up there and we'll get some fresh air, maybe read a book, that sort of thing. But and we walk. We like to walk, and occasionally we'll just drive to a bigger beach and just walk 20, 30 minutes. We'll get our feet in the water. Sometimes we get in the water, and it's just wonderful. There's its recording.
Okay, there we go. So now that we have you back, like we said, island time has its challenges, especially with technology every now and then.
Yeah, especially the internet. Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, because you were talking about the going to like longer beaches and then the water and it being like bath water and everything.
Mm,
But yeah, it's just
yeah.
that's just got to be incredible, especially when you have that at your fingertips like every day. It's not like a whole big trip to go do or um but yeah, and,
It's
and you
really
still
great.
and you
10
still go
minutes in a
travel,
car
right?
to
Because
a
I know you've
beautiful beach.
traveled to the UK. You've been traveling. You still traveled other places since you've been there.
Yeah, well, we've been back to the UK. I was back to UK twice last year. I was looking after my mother for a little while. She had a bit of a health crisis, so I was with her for a month, and then my husband and I went back again to do a visit, visit family and friends, in September. So that was what we did, and we're looking forward to going back again this year. Yeah, we still travel. We're looking forward to doing a lot more in the near future. We just love it. Just love it. It's always nice coming back here, though. It really is nice, coming in the plane, and it's funny because you can see the entire island. You can see the entire island right the way across. I think it's like 20, 25, 30 miles across and about 45 miles north to south. So it's a tiny little island. But yeah, walking on the beach is fabulous, and it
Well,
makes
yeah,
you
it's got to
it
be
makes you
incredible.
realise island life.
Mhm.
People here are so very laid back. They're all so lovely. They're just very laid back, and they always give you a bonjour You know, when you pass them, they're always lovely. But walking on that beach, it just like it takes the stress away, you know, and it's you just realise that you don't have to push through everything. You don't have to force to get things done on a specific timeline. Just let it flow. You know, just let it go. If you feel like not doing something one day, then don't do it. Because if you try to force yourself to do it, you're going against the natural flow of things. So that was another thing that I realised, you know, don't push. Even determination. Determination is a form of resistance. You know, it's got to feel good, whatever it is that you're doing. So yeah, that was a big wow for me as well. Don't push, just take it in your own time. And if you don't feel like it, then don't do it. Do it another day. And I do. I have been doing that for a good 6 months, and I find I'm progressing a lot quicker than I used to.
Lovely. Yeah, and the fact that you have the freedom, to be able to do that and go visit family. So,
Yeah.
we have a few minutes left here. So, your Cosmic Soul Alignment, people can follow you on YouTube, right? At Cosmic Soul Alignment.
Yep.
And you're also on
Yeah.
E360 TV. What are your plans for that or for the new year? What's your new plan? What's your plans or goals for 2026?
For 2026, I am rebranding. I am totally revamping my website and some of my offerings. So it's a quiet time for me because I'm not advertising anything right now. I'm just trying to get everything going. Um, it's it's really opened my eyes to a lot of different things this last few years. So the wording on my website needed changed. So I've just taken the time out now to actually, rebrand everything and get everything up to scratch. So that is a big, big project. I reckon it's going to take me another couple of months to do that. But I'll have loads of offers out, this year at some point. I'm working on lots of different projects as well, and there's a possible other collaboration coming up, but nothing right now.
Well,
But
and
things are
speaking
moving. I'm not pushing them. I'm letting them happen.
There you go. And speaking of offerings, you do have a free gift for everyone in our audience that's watching. It's an immune boost
Yeah,
activation. It's like a
yeah.
meditation activation, right? That helps them boost their immune system.
'Tis the season for getting colds and flus and things, so I thought this might be appropriate. Yeah, what this is I would call it like a tiny course. It's a mini course. There's 2 or 3 videos on there that explains, who I am, how I work, how it works, and then it's a guided meditation. I call them activated audios because I infuse the healing into the recording, and then you can listen to it whenever you like. So it's about 50 minutes, I think, but it will help release the vibrations that are keeping your immune system low. So it'll help give your immune system a kick. And there's also a bonus in there as well. I created that as a subliminal. So if you don't like to hear the guided meditation, if you just want to hear the music, the energy is still infused into that recording. So you've got the best of both worlds.
All comes down to vibrations and frequencies, right?
All vibrations, frequencies, yeah.
Well, Dawn, I want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing that. And I hope it inspires
Been a
our
pleasure.
listeners to make those changes that they need to. Because obviously there's a whole world. Like I said, or like you said, if you have pain in your body or you're feeling stuck, there's always a positive and there's a reason for it. What would you like to leave our audience with today?
Oh, live life in the here and now. Don't regret the past. It's been and gone. And don't worry about the future because it ain't here yet. Live in the present moment because trust me, when you do that, things change for you totally positively. So yeah, don't regret, don't worry, just live in the moment. Focus on what you have in front of you now, and your life will change.
Absolutely. And you feel a whole lot lighter. Things I don't think feel nearly as heavy as
Yes,
what as what they can. So if you're
it's true.
feeling stuck, you have that trauma, you need energies released, absolutely. I would reach out to Dawn. Her information will all be in the description. Or if you align with her and you want to be on Cosmic Soul Alignment, it's a beautiful show to be on. Call Dawn and have a discovery call or have a conversation and find out how you can do that as well. But Dawn, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Laura.
Yep. Everybody, I hope you have a beautiful Monday. Hope this is helping you to kick your new year off the right way. And I look forward to a whole new year and new guests. And we will see you next week.